Hello again, Scion, Chief Rabbit. Well done on that first offensive. That certainly packed a punch. I wanted to make good on our decision to talk as houses are starting to fall. Also, my condolences on your losses.
Thank you, Inky Gray. And any new information would be helpful. Would you be willing to wait? I need to check with James on security.
I would be happy to wait as I need to speak with my charge.
Has something happened, Inky Gray?
Yes, I am your bodyguard, yes?
Oh, yes? Was there some doubt? I feel you have been a wonderful guard.
I am glad that my work meets your approval, Scion. However, I think you have some misconceptions about how all this works.
What do you mean?
You are the heir to House Mollusca. You are vital to the house if coffee falls to the horde. You would be the only thing standing in the way of the houses, the protectorate's dissolution. I am to guard you with my life.
Yes, of course, I know. I am very appreciative of what you do for me.
Your actions would say otherwise.
Uh, I am not sure what you mean?
The moon grant me patience. I am to protect you, which means I need to know where you are and what you are doing at all times. So, when were you going to tell me you volunteered to do a massive, literomantic piece of work on land during your first World War?
I thought that was why my Zizi sent me, to help.
Yes, but they also sent you to learn and network, not throw yourself in front of the horde, child.
But I wanted to help. I couldn't simply watch the others struggle on their own.
I understand that, but you still should have kept me informed. You could have exhausted your reserves. Would they have known how to treat you properly without me to tell them? What if you'd failed?
I, I guess I didn't think about that. It did seem much scarier after I started.
You have to start thinking like a scion. You could have helped, but rather as a support writer, like me, rather than increasing your sensitivity to the horde. Our house could have lost their heir.
You helped me?
You were already tentacles deep in it. Of course I supported you.
Oh my goodness, Daciana, thank you. I can't say how much that means to me.
No thanks needed, but you really...
Sorry, couldn't help but overhear. I remind you, Inky Gray, that Regent Egriff and I led this offensive, and I too have a duty to my house. It was a calculated risk. The reward was worth the risk, even if it cost my scion his life. You're right that Scion Striker needs to remember that he has a duty not to risk his life willy-nilly. But we are Tome Knights. We are monarchs of war. All hands are needed against the Horde, which are a threat to all living things.
I know this, Chief Rabbit. It's just that he's young and eager. He needs to understand that he is important to the house as well. He can represent our house well has represented our house well, but he's needed a lot more than he realizes.
Yes, and he's already been an amazing asset to your house because he can do things that the Cosmic Kraken often finds difficult, like opening up diplomatic relations with less ancient creatures. I promise you, Inky Gray, I did not ask for the Scion's participation, but I'm not about to refuse the help of capable litromancers either, and he was an incredible asset. I will protect him as much as I can while he's our guest. I respect Mollusca far too much not to do that.
Again, I understand, Chief Rabbit, and I
Oh,
know you didn't ask him. I'm glad we're both able to help with this offensive. I did not mean to imply that those responsibilities or the offensive were not important. Not at all. But you must understand a striker is the equivalent of a 14, 15-year-old. He's never been on land or really involved with the word wars directly. I have not only been seen as a bodyguard, but as an advisor. He must realize his importance and that he should be taking calculated risks. I wouldn't have forbade him from helping, but I would have advised him to do so in a manner that wasn't as risky.
He's a teenager? Oh, Ella Herrera, why didn't you tell me that? Then no, I want him nowhere near the battlefield. Gods know my kids have seen too much already.
He didn't mention his age. I expected that he would tell you more about himself when you talked. Striker, why did you not inform the Chief Rabbit of your age and your learning status? I can still see you, Striker.
I was just practicing my camouflage, Inky Gray, and I do apologize to both of you. Well, I don't really understand how aging works outside of Krakens. I just assumed if Zizi said it was time, that meant I was ready. So I tried to focus on what was important for our houses.
We will talk more later, hatchling. And you might as well stay. You will need to hear this as well. Chief Rabbit, the monsters have spread farther than I dared to imagine, and some of the nastier ones as well. Our boat had been destroyed near Hawaii. It would take several months to truly know the density of the monster numbers or just how far they have spread in the globe.
Oh, for frith's sake. Oh, they're labs. What for?
To work on my suit and possibly make a couple of more, but mainly to test the chemical remnants I've been finding in the trench. I want to figure out what it is. Also, a possible means of neutralizing it.
I see. I hate to seem one track minded, but this seems like it might be connected. You said you used to work for the company.
Yes, I worked in the animal research division. Initially worked on copying animal brainwave patterns and replicating animal functions and abilities using AI machines. I moved to my last project about 3 years ago. I was given instructions to recreate this strange suit from some old blueprints that had been recovered. I was never given details on where it came from. It was unique but advanced. Honestly, I thought it was something alien.
Okay, yeah, I see.
As I started putting things together, I wasn't getting feedback or any indication that anything was working. Then I decided to work on another project while I thought about what was missing from the prototype. I had been working on another bio-related project. They were trying to enhance lab-grown skin for things like grafts and plastic surgery. I threw it on the prototype when I was in a hurry, and it started sparking.
Really?
I then took it off. Given that it started burning the synthetic skin, I recalibrated the electricity output to match the bioelectricity produced by living creatures. The suit started giving off signals. So I used my bioliteromancy to infuse nerves into the skin mesh. I can recreate living things to an extent, well, parts of them as a sort of literomantic specialty. After nearly a week without sleep, I finished the suit. The translated notes, the scribbles in the blueprints, had been in a different language. The translated notes said it was a camouflage suit. So I tested it, and sure enough, I vanished.
Could you demonstrate? Huh, incredible.
I even tested it in my wolf form. It worked like a charm, and it changed to fit my form. So no lost clothes. And I discovered that I could change into different animals with it. It could be awkward at some points, but with practice it became almost natural. I spent plenty of time in my seal form for the irony, but that is how it got its name. Not long after, I found a translation key someone dropped. It allowed me to decipher the notes on the blueprint. There were also directions on the back, signed by a DM Stretch.
Stretch, really?
I'm sorry, did you know them?
DM Stretch was a private contractor who worked for the company, but he came to me when he discovered what they were doing, and for some time he worked as a double agent on Lappin's behalf. He was my Ausla commander, until he disappeared on assignment against the company. He's still missing in action. He's a friend, or was. I begin to lose hope.
Ah, I see. He did a very dangerous but important thing. I hope he can be found well. But I followed his directions and I came across a score of blueprints and a hard drive. After seeing a fraction of what was on it, I knew I had to leave, so I took it all and smuggled it home. I then copied my work onto another drive and destroyed my research, and torched the computer. I had an IFT friend install a spike in the server that connected to that sector, so if they tried to rescue my files in the servers, it would be fried. Someone did, and they came looking for me. I refused to tell them anything, and that was when they took me and started their experiment.
I'm sorry they did that to you. They've hurt me too, and a lot of people close to me. Were you able to retrieve the blueprints before you left?
The results of their torture lodged me in this form. The only way I can access my other shapes is through sustained biomancy. It is exhausting to do on a regular basis, so I don't. Anyway, when I escaped the building, it, when it came down about a year later, I raced home and grabbed a stash of information. I wrapped it all up in a waterproof case and hid it in a grotto near a beach I frequented on my days off. Then I changed into a seal-like creature with needed enhancements, for the pressure and everything, and swam as deep as I could into the ocean. I discovered the Molluscan Protectorate in the Zaforza Trench, and I've been there ever since.
My goodness, Daciana, I had no idea you had been through so much.
Thank you for sharing your story. You were very brave, Inky Gray. I know that couldn't have been easy.
Of course.
Would you be okay with sharing that information with us?
Absolutely. That is why I brought it. This holds all the information DM Stretch had compiled, including the drive. I am willing to share my notes another time, but this contains everything Commander Stretch had stashed on the company at the time.
Came prepared, eh?
And Inky is always prepared. I do ask that you would give my apologies to King Bob and the Serapodans for the misuse of their technology.
Well, you'll have to talk to about that, but of course filking Frith! The horde is moving on the Warren. Wow, that's gotta be a battalion at least. Everyone to their stations! James, send a chopper for Realm and the Forgelings. Their field trip is cut short.
I will come.
No, help with the evacuations. I will go with you, but there is no lunar way I'm letting you to my sight.
But
You will be helping. The civilians need protection and direction. Chief Rabbit, Striker, and I will help with the evacuation of the civilians, and once they are safe, I shall return to help fight.
Understood. Oh, Frith, they're moving fast. Let's go, Gwen.